For the last few years, artificial intelligence companies have treated music like an unattended buffet. They've pulled recordings, lyrics, and entire creative styles into massive data collections without asking for permission or offering a cent in payment. Now, the industry is moving toward a licensed model. Tech companies are beginning to build systems where creators can actually choose to participate and, theoretically, get paid for their contributions. For an independent artist, this sounds like a simple win. You might assume that because your music is on Spotify or Apple Music, you can just click an opt-in button and wait for the AI royalties to arrive. But an artist's name on a digital storefront is not a legal chain of title. A distribution profile proves the music is available to stream, but it doesn't prove who legally controls the rights required for an AI training license. AI companies cannot issue payments if they don't know exactly who owns the data. If the ownership is unclear, the money stays in the system. The AI licensing boom is arriving, but many independent artists are positioned to miss it. Most catalogs are administrative disasters, built on verbal agreements and unread emails. Consider a fictional track called Midnight Wi-Fi. While a fan hears one unified emotional object, the law sees a fragmented collection of different rights that must be licensed individually. This diagram shows the foundational structure of music copyright. Every song is split into two distinct legal entities. The first half is the sound recording, or the master. Even if you're the main artist, pieces of this ownership may belong to the producer who recorded the track, an investor who paid for the session, or a featured vocalist. The second half is the musical composition, the melody and the lyrics. This side involves a separate web of co-writers, lyricists, and their respective publishing administrators. AI models often isolate these elements. A system might train only on the lyrics or analyze just the melodic structure. That triggers the composition rights independently, regardless of who owns the master recording. You cannot license the DNA of your music to a tech company if you cannot prove you own every individual strand of that DNA. Attribution technology can now detect a song's influence on a generated output with high precision. However, an algorithm cannot manufacture a missing legal signature. Every co-written song needs a signed split sheet. This document defines exactly who owns what percentage of the composition, and it needs to be signed in the studio, not years later when the details have become blurry. For the recording side, you need producer agreements and work-for-hire releases. Without them, you don't have the clear title required to sign an AI license. This flowchart illustrates the role of global identifiers. An ISRC identifies the specific recording of the master, while an ISWC tracks the underlying composition. These codes connect the art to the correct human creators. It is dangerous to wait for a licensing offer to arrive before fixing your paperwork. When money enters the room, collaborators often remember their creative contributions very differently than they did when the track was being recorded. A digital dashboard showing your attribution metrics is not a substitute for a contract. If the underlying paperwork is missing, that dashboard offers no legal path to collect your royalties. Without split sheets and verified identifiers, an artist owns a business that has no way to process a payment. The music industry has seen this cycle before. When streaming first arrived, it was marketed as the democratization of music, a way for every artist to reach a global audience instantly. Many artists rushed in before payment rates were settled. They surrendered control of their data and customer relationships, allowing platforms to dictate the financial terms. The promise of exposure was a poor trade for the reality of platform economics, where visibility is controlled by an algorithm rather than the artist. Opting into AI datasets without administrative control will lead to the same result. It is the beginning of a second era where creators surrender their leverage to the companies holding the technology. The solution is to build an artist-owned rights passport. This is a private, comprehensive business record for every track that serves as a single source of truth for ownership and permissions. This starts with a 30-day catalog cleanup. You need to gather every contract, split sheet, and identifier into one secure location that you control. You must resolve any ownership disputes with your collaborators now. These issues are much easier to fix before there is an actual check waiting to be divided. Organized contracts and spreadsheets provide the architectural framework for a sustainable, independent career. True independence relies on owning your administration. By controlling your records and your permissions, you can ensure that AI licensing is a tool that serves your business, rather than a system that consumes it.